Let's talk about our mindset. I'm a big believer. Everybody says you have to have a positive attitude. Everybody loves the positive attitude. I'm going to tell you this. I believe attitude is absolutely the most important thing we have. How many have kids? How many of you tell your kids, you got to have the right attitude, kid? How many of us yell out and go, you better get your mind right? And then we go yell at someone else with a bad attitude. You do as I say, not as I do. Attitudes matter. I'm telling you that I get to travel the world and meet some of the most successful people in the world. And the one thing they always tell you is attitude matters. It matters in sales. See, we got to be likable. You walk into a school, you walk in, whether you're administrating an individual plan or you're trying to get a new group, you better be good to hang out with. Right? And not just fun, but good. We need to be with the right people. And by the way, you need to hang out with people with the right attitude. I don't know if you have one of these in your life, but you get rid of the life suckers. Now, you probably, let me show you what I mean when I always say a life sucker. Want to go to the movies? Yeah. Probably sold out. What are tickets, $500 each now? A bunch of kids out front playing sucky face. Wife's complaining about this, complaining about that. Oh, government's going to run us in the ground. Competition's not even, they're terrible. They're cheating, a bunch of liars. My boss is a pain in the ass, but got to go to this annual event. Woo, I'm going to learn a lot. Raise your hand if you know someone like this. I'm going to warn you, if you're not raising your hand, it's probably you. Just pointing out some things that other people are thinking. But you got to remove these naysayers. Oh, that just never worked. It won't work. Shut up. Like, no one cares about your negative opinion. Here's what I will tell you. If you don't love your job, you should quit. Now, your boss won't tell you that because finding good people is, yeah, see? See, your bosses, they won't tell you that because they're afraid of God. They're like afraid to death because they can't find anybody else better. You can. Right? Love what you do. And others will love you too. It matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. Bosses, if someone has a bad attitude, that's their fault. If you're keeping them on the team, that's your fault. We've got to mandate attitude just like we do our kids. It's not about having the best behavior. It's not about having a positive attitude. It's about having the right attitude. Now, the last thing I'll tell you about attitude is the one thing we have 100% control over, yet is the most difficult thing for us to control. And one thing you've got to do is you got to have an energy thermostat. You got to have an attitude thermostat. You walk into a house last week. Did you get cold weather last week? Holy schmelly dollars, I thought I was in Utah. Actually, I was in Utah, but when I got home, I thought I was still in Utah. And when you got in your house and it was 48 degrees, what'd you do? Did you stay and freeze? What'd you do? I'm looking right at you. Like literally, like I'm locked in. Like there is no doubt who I'm talking to right now. Like even the guys behind you are like, yo, he's talking to you. So let me ask you a question. When it was freezing in your house, and she was like, please quit staring at me. And it was cold, what did you do? You turned on the thermostat, right? And then the heater came on. You've got to have the thermostat. I get it. Listen, I have 4 kids. I've been married for 18 years. I have bad days too, right? Sometimes you get up and things just aren't working right. Here's what I'll tell you. You got to have a way to turn on your thermostat. You don't stay in a bad attitude. You don't stay in a bad mood because we don't get paid for bad attitudes. We don't get to have bad days. So whether it's music, a friend who's not a life sucker, whatever it may be, for me, it's my coin. I carry a coin everywhere I go, and it says GLAD, grateful, love, attitude, desire. And every time I touch my coin like I'm doing right now, I say, I'm grateful for my life, I love my wife, I love my life. Today is going to be an awesome day, and I desire to make an impact today. Like I really want to make some valuable contribution. And every time I touch it, it reminds me to be there, to be present. You need to have a thermostat, just like your house does. Next is belief. Belief is, listen, I'll give you a couple of things here that you're going to really relate to, but this is absolutely, you can't fake this. Now listen, the reason why I start with mindset is I could teach you how to split an atom today. But if you don't have the right mindset, how many times have you gone to this event before? Of course, not this one, but you go to an event before and you leave with 4 pages of notes. And in a month, you couldn't find your notes with a crowbar and a flashlight. Right? Like nothing's changed. We have to change how we believe and how we think before we'll change how we behave. And this isn't some kumbaya moment. Like, if you believe, you'll achieve. What I mean is, if you don't believe, you have no chance. Believing is determining whether we'll walk into a school or a location or a district office with confidence or timidness. Belief will determine if we will help someone and convince them to do what they need or not. Belief determines conviction, conviction determines effort, and effort determines results. Who has a child who does chores very poorly? Someone at the over the age, go keep your hands up. I'm going to bring some. Do you mind, can you see me okay if I hop down here? Because this big thing, I feel like we're so far away and I want to hug you and I can't get to you. Some of you are like, that would be great, stay up there. Probably a pedophile. Like, I'm not saying I can't go to schools, but what I am saying is I'm not allowed to do field trips anymore. And the reason why is because kids are bad, and apparently telling a 12-year-old boy you're going to give him a chest noogie till he cries is against company policy. Like, kids need manners. Okay, who has a child over the age of 12 who does chores very poorly? You do? Boy or girl? Perfect. They stink. Okay. Not your boy. Not your boy. Not your boy. Others. How old is your son?
He's going to be 14 next week.
14 next week.
14 next week.
You know, I have a 14-year-old daughter. Your son's literally my enemy.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it.
Like I see your son, I'm like, don't even think about it. Like, move on.
Yeah.
Move on. I'm like the guy from, what's the one where they go, The Hangover?
Yeah.
Right? Kevin, what's the guy's name? The fat Jesus, what's his name? Zach. He's like, the old guy's walking by the car, he's like, move on, move on. Do you have this book, The Self-Professional Playbook?
I do not.
What, do you live under a rock, Jillian?
Probably.
It's one of the best books ever written. Okay, read this. So your son, what chores does he do poorly? Pick one. Oh, dishes. Okay, Jillian, I don't know if you're taking notes, but you're going to want to write this down. This is very life-changing for you. I'm going to teach you how to make your son do dishes correctly. And it's only going to take you 2 times. Okay, do you know why your son does a poor job? You need to understand the why before you can fix the what. Do you know why your son does such a poor job of loading the dishwasher?
Because he's hoping I'll give up and he'll have to stop doing them.
Yeah, how many times do you reload it? Like, fix it?
Honestly, not very often. I make him come back if I try to clean the dishwasher if it's still dirty.
And yes, you don't. So the problem is the consequence is not great enough for him. You need to step up the consequence. And I'm not saying beat him, but close. Here's what we do. Let me explain why. So the reason why a kid does dishes or your chores poorly is because they have a different reason for doing the chores than you do. See, you do the chores for an outcome. Like, you put the dishes in the dishwasher to make them clean. So you put the bowls on the bottom facing down, because a bowl facing up doesn't make any sense except to a teenager or my wife. And then the second thing you do is you don't put plastic down on the bottom. Why? Because plastic what? Melts. Yeah, this doesn't take rocket science. But because you're doing the dishes to get them clean, you do it with a purpose. A kid says, if I put all the dishes in the square box, check the box, I'm done. Do you know who is just like our kids? Us. How many times do we check the box of our sales activity? Do things because we have to, not because we believe in them. Belief matters. If you worked for me, you would have to scrimmage. Now, I'll tell you what that is in a little while. But you would have to, you call it role playing, every day. If you didn't, I'd fire you. And you say, oh my gosh, you must be a really mean manager. No, I'm actually a loving manager. I just want to make sure you show up in the best version of you as you can. And I know as in human and in life as an adult. Bless you. You okay, honey? You let it fly. Good for you. You're like, all right, smarty pants. You want to show me out in front of this audience? I'm allergic to you. I'm gonna give you a book for that. Never really been insulted that fast in front of so many people. Yeah, no, I'm listening. So here's the facts. You have to believe in what you do. You have to believe in who you are. You have to believe in what you sell. Like, you have to believe that what you do is noble. So when someone says, I don't want to buy insurance because I don't need it, you can look at them and go, you really do. You really do. Like, if my mom or my dad needed something, I would be persistent with passion. That's what belief is. Believe in the behaviors. Believe in what we do. And believe in who we are.